Thom Hartmann here on the news. You need to know this. Ignoring the lessons in Europe, the United States is set to jump into an austerity economic death spiral this year. Already, thanks to Republican hostage scenarios forcing deep spending cuts, the United States is set to swallow $348 billion in austerity measures in 2013. That includes $200 billion in spending cuts and an additional $125 billion from the expiration of the payroll tax cut. These austerity measures total 2.1% of our national GDP, which is more austerity than most nations in Europe have endured thus far, including the UK, France, and Spain. This month we learned that the UK is now in a double-dip recession because of austerity. And Spain, which has been choking on austerity for a year, now has the highest unemployment rate in Europe at 26.2%. Austerity sucks money out of the hands of working people, so that rich people don't have to pay their fair share for deficit reduction and economic growth. And since working people are the real job creators and not rich people, austerity kills economies. All austerity has done to the Eurozone is push it closer and closer to collapse. And it will do the same thing to the United States. And considering that a new so-called fiscal cliff looms 2 months from now, and Republicans as well as President Obama are pushing for more spending cuts and more austerity, our nation could be facing a tumultuous 2013. Today is the first day of the new Congress, and we all have to get active and convince our lawmakers to abandon the psychotic thinking that we can cut our way to prosperity. It's never happened before anywhere in the history of the planet. We need stimulus spending, not austerity gutting. In Screwed News, are you ready for gun-toting kindergarten teachers? 2 gun groups in Ohio, the Buckeye Firearms Foundation and the Tactical Defense Institute, have launched a training program designed to instruct teachers and school officials how to shoot guns in the classroom. Never mind the NRA's suggestion of armed guards at every school, these gun groups want armed teachers in every classroom. The chairman of the Buckeye Firearms Foundation said, "This is something many of our schools have been asking about for a long time." Already more than 600 applicants in 15 states have signed up for school gun training. This is a recipe for disaster. Just as a gun in the home is more likely to be used against someone in that home than against an intruder, a gun in the classroom is far more likely to be used against someone in that classroom than on an intruder. More guns are not the answer to more gun violence. It's only the answer to more profits for the NRA, gun manufacturers, and gun dealers around the nation who don't give a damn about the carnage their products are causing all across this nation. In the best of the rest of the news, Democrats will have an uphill climb in 2014 if they want to retake the House of Representatives. According to an analysis of last year's election numbers by Think Progress, House Democrats won more than 1.3 million more votes nationwide in races for the House of Representatives, a number that would traditionally have produced a solidly Democratic House. Yet Republicans maintained a majority in the House of Representatives. How? Because of gerrymandering by Republican state legislatures in 2010, which they used to rig the 2012 election to favor their own party. Thanks to those gerrymandering efforts, Think Progress concluded that House Democrats would need to beat House Republicans by more than 7% in 2014 to have a chance of retaking the House. To put that in perspective, that's a much bigger margin of victory than Republicans won in 2010 when they flipped the House. That's why we need a nonpartisan federal commission running our elections, like those found in most other developed democracies around the world. We can't leave our elections up to the whims of state politics and the billionaires that fund them. Otherwise, we get what we have today, a House of Representatives that doesn't represent the will of the people. Victims of Hurricane Sandy weren't the only ones left hanging by House Republicans who decided to close up shop and go on vacation before addressing a number of important pieces of legislation like disaster relief. So too were women. Republicans in the House left town and allowed the Violence Against Women Act to expire. First passed back in 1994, the law includes a number of measures to curb violence against women, including more funding for investigations, mandatory minimum sentences, and new ways for women to file civil suits. The new version of the Violence Against Women Act included further protections for Native Americans, immigrants, and the LGBT community, and it was approved with a bipartisan Senate vote of 68 to 31. But House Republicans couldn't stomach these new protections and refused to reauthorize the program, thus leaving women all across the nation more vulnerable. For a political party that's trying to shake off its image of having a war on women, this isn't the best way to do it. And finally, Ohio Congressman Dennis Kucinich gave his final speech on the floor of the House of Representatives on Wednesday. He served in the House for 15 years before losing his seat to Ohio Republican gerrymandering. In his final speech, he called for a new type of politics in America, one that reflects our nation's motto of e pluribus unum, out of many, one, and brings us together rather than dividing us. Kucinich imagined this new body politic by saying the poison system of pay-to-play would be transformed by public financing, and our government would be rededicated to addressing the practical aspirations of all the American people for jobs, for health care for all, for education for all, for retirement security for all, and for environmental security. Congress is losing one of its good guys, but I'm sure this isn't the last we've seen or heard from Congressman Dennis Kucinich. And that's the way it is today, Thursday, January 3rd, 2013. I'm Thom Hartmann on the News.